Yo, this is Set with Set Media, man. I'm here to talk to you about our partner, Koshi. Koshi is the largest legal prediction market in the United States with over 1 million users. It's available in all 50 states. They are a real money market, people trading on what they think will happen. You can build a position and trade in and out of almost any prediction you think. Koshi facilitates trade between people kind of like the stock market. There's no limiting your trades just because you're winning. Kalshi will pay you interest on your position. So if you make a long-term trade, you can earn a return even before the market is resolved. If you want to try out Kalshi, go ahead and give them a try, guys, at my link, kalshi.com/setmedia. Get $20 when you trade 20, so it's 20 for 20, guys. Once again, that's kalshi.com/setmedia. Go ahead and use my code setmedia to get $20 when you trade 20. Let's go ahead and take a look here at Kalshi, because like I said, it is a trading market where you can put in your prediction and you can go ahead and earn interest on that. You can make money off the knowledge that you know, and if you put $20 in, you get $20 back. So all right, guys, make sure to go check out my guy Kalshi, because you can get in on good trades like who Trump nominated as Fed chair, will Ali Khamenei be outed as the supreme leader, and will the US confirm that aliens exist before 2027. So if you want to get in on this action, once again, go ahead and go to my partners at Kalshi. Go ahead and use the link, or you can hit the QR code above and use Set Media to go ahead and get $20 when you trade 20. This is Set from Set Media, and shout out to Kalshi. But all right, let's go over to CNN.
Was that moment what Donald Trump ultimately wanted, and what perhaps your Democratic leadership wanted to avoid?
Oh, yeah, no, the president clearly came in with a strategy to do that, right? His strategy was to try to rage bait people into that fight. He wanted that, and he got it. Look, ultimately, he's not deporting 2 members of Congress, just like he didn't lock up Hillary, even though that was chanted in arenas, around the country. So, look, he can't fix his poll numbers. He can't turn around the fact that he's underwater on the economy, underwater on immigration, the 2 issues that helped get him elected. So what he's going to try to do is he's going to try to fight to the point where he tries to make us not an option, right? He wants to just bring us down with him, to the hope that might help him somehow survive the midterms.
Yeah, that's the problem, though. You guys are, 1, letting him do it, and 2, you guys aren't coming up with no policies. Like, Dems, what's the Democratic's plan? What's the Democratic Party's plan to tackle affordability? I'll wait. You don't got one. You spent too long crying about Trump's plan to tackle affordability to come up with your own. And we're just supposed to vote for people who have no plan, but complaining about the plan that's being enacted. That's all y'all got, is a bunch of complaints. Because please let us know, because Abigail Spanberger kind of let us know what you guys do. You'll sit there and you'll run on affordability. You'll get in and raise taxes, add gas taxes, make things more, unaffordable. So please, what's your plan? Mondani went in on affordability. He has to raise property taxes, and he raised bus fare. So please, what's your plan on affordability? Because y'all don't have one, and all y'all do is cry about Trump's plan. So please do not think the American people are dumb enough just to vote for y'all because you're crying about Trump.
This is the new strategy. He met with his pollsters. They saw where everything is. They can't turn around their stuff. They've ruined it in the first year. So the strategy is to try to bring everybody down in order to survive the midterms.
So Rashida Tlaib responded to Trump. She said, can't take 2 Muslims talking back and correcting him.
Here's the thing. People be acting like I'm selling out for Trump. I'm not. I'm just telling you guys that you guys don't have a plan, and you can't tell me a plan. I mean, look, you guys are against the tariffs. Okay, great. Well, we all of us agree that we do need to bring back manufacturing to America. How are you guys going to do it without using Trump's plan, which is tariffs? You don't got one. So shut the F up. How y'all going to fix affordability besides complaining about Trump's affordability problem, or the affordability crisis that's been going on since Biden, by the way? You didn't mention it during Biden, but you want to mention it now. Fantastic. What you're going to do about it? Oh, nothing? Complain about Trump? Then why should we vote for you?
Responded to Trump. She said, "Can't take two Muslims talking back and correcting him, so now he's crashing out." And then she used the hashtag President Majnoon, which means crazy or insane in Persian.
President Madden.
Yeah, I mean, she also got what she wanted, which was a mistake, I think, for the Democrats to play into that. I actually agree with the congressman. I think the president was setting up Democrats in a really simple and easy way. They shouldn't have fallen for it. It seems pretty easy to stand up and say, actually, no, I support American people first. That is where I stand. And we can have a nuanced conversation afterwards if you want about illegal immigration. But
Sure.
they walked into that trap because it was so easy to set.
Well, but that's
on
not
them.
true. I mean, I stand for
Most Democrats did not stand.
I stand for Americans over non-citizens, and so do all of my colleagues. But just because it's not the Galactic Senate, just because the Emperor says rise doesn't mean I get up. Like I'm a different.
You rose sometimes.
I'm a different.
I
branch of-
mean, just because the emperor says rise, come on, bro. I mean, do you not believe in celebrating your fellow Americans? Like, you know, a war hero, a little girl that beat the odds. I would think that you should be able to, you know, take yourself outside of your political opinions to celebrate an individual. I would hope you guys would have that, I don't know, that sense, I don't know, that the soul or whatever. Maybe I'm being a bit too preachy about it, but y'all should have stood up. Like, I get the F Trump agenda, whatever, but y'all should have stood up for those Americans. And y'all need to hold yourselves accountable for that.
Government. I rose for the heroes that were in the gallery, not because the
but
president
not for
told me
the
to
other
rise.
point. I mean, you rose because, and thank you for rising. I think in those cases that this is an easy moment to be united, whether it's around Team USA or it's around any of the people who were featured there. But that's sending a message that you agree with the statement or the sentiment, and you chose not to stand.
Well, I'm sure if Joe
on the other
Biden told
points.
the Republicans to rise, they would have
Doesn't
leapt
I think
from
the
their
right-
seats.
I think
But to that point,
okay.
doesn't that happen at every single State of the Union address? The president
Good
says
point.
something innocuous. The party that is the opposite party doesn't stand. That happens every single year.
Yeah, but I
I
don't
don't
feel like
understand
this.
why
I
we're
don't feel like these
pretending like this is
shouting
some kind of new
matches
thing.
used to happen. I mean, they started happening maybe that in my memory with Joe Wilson
Right.
under Obama. You know, I don't like Donald Trump. I don't support Donald Trump, but I am an institutionalist, and I think that there is a pomp and circumstance and gravitas to something like the State of the Union. Does he use it to lie? Yes. Does he use it to divide? Does he use it to attack immigrants? Yes. But that doesn't mean that
Wow.
that two congresspeople should be in this shouting match. And look, what he tweeted out today is horribly racist. And I say this as somebody that gets told the same thing over and over again. Go back to where you came from. I can't tell you how many times I open up social media and it says, go eat a burrito and go back to Mexico, because racists are so stupid, they don't realize there's more than one country in Latin America, and I'm not from Mexico. Also, I don't eat burritos. I like tacos.
I mean, no, that's the funny thing about racists. We just generalize. I mean, I'm somewhat of a racist my damn self. We generalize. What, bro? We generalize. The most popular nation in Latin America is Mexico. I think it's the biggest too. So I'm be real with you. That's why we just kind of throw y'all all under, the Mexican, bus. But be real with you guys. We understand. No, we understand that there is Venezuelans, Ecuadorians, El Salvador, and all that good stuff. But yeah, we are kind of grimy, just throwing them all in as Mexicans. At least say Hispanics, at least.
The fact that what he said is racist and it is horrible, and it's it emboldens and it strengthens, empowers racism. My question is, how does it help?
Nah, what empowers racism is when you let in a bunch of Hispanics that come into the country and get benefits that should be allowed to the American people, that should have went to the American people. I don't know, like grocery cards with thousands of dollars on them. You was putting them up in hotels. I mean, you could have did that for our homeless vets or homeless citizens in general, but you did it for illegals. Don't you think that's going to create a little bit of hostility towards that group? I'm just saying, just put it out there.
Help American citizens to have the president of the United States and two congresspeople in a pissing match over stupidity? How does it help them have lower grocery prices? How does it help him have access to health care, access to housing? And actually, I think it's, you talk about Donald Trump goading them into this. I think this is really stupid by Donald
No,
Trump.
all right, great. I mean, what have y'all done to lower prices? What have y'all done to lower healthcare? Because remember, when it came to healthcare, y'all just said keep on paying billions to the insurance companies as they raise their premiums. That was your plan, Democrats, and you wasn't willing to go outside that plan. Actually, y'all was willing to shut the government down over that plan. So once again, here you guys are complaining about something when you did not have no plan. And the plan that you had followed the status quo, which only made things more expensive for Americans because these insurance companies were raising premiums. Like I said, what plan do you guys have besides crying about Trump?
Trump. I mean, most people use the State
That's
of
what's
the
going to lose
Union as
y'all
a launching
midterms. You're going
pad
to be
to then
surprised.
go out and sell their agenda and try to have it be a good moment for them. And instead, he's out there in the, in the bottom of the gutter, fighting and being a racist pig. Why?
Can I just ask this question? Is it asking too much?
I'm sorry.
To
What did Trump say that was racist again? What was it? The Somali pirates in Minnesota? He didn't say all Somalian people were pirates, so I don't know about that. But then again, though, I ain't gonna lie, the left is really sensitive anytime Trump brings up any race of people.
expect the President of the United States, the Commander in Chief, to set the tone in the room for the State of the Union.
Yes, it's asking too much.
Okay, but
It's asking too much.
it had to be awful tough. I talked to a lot of members of Congress about attending versus not attending. Both of the Congresswomen who the President, the Commander in Chief, have been after for a while now,
Yeah, that's true.
were in the room, in their seats, on behalf of the people that they represent. I served as a law enforcement.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to stand on this, but Ilhan Omar is a terrible representative of the Muslim community. And let's just be real. The fraud that she's allowed to go on, the fraud that she might be implicated in through her husband's winery business. I mean, bro, and the fact that she's extremely disrespectful towards Americans, saying that Americans are dumb. So yeah, somebody like that shouldn't be a leader or shouldn't be a leader for America, or shouldn't be a congresswoman, but it is what it is. She got voted in. But I kind of feel Trump when he says that now I mean, I don't want her to lead the US, but I do think she shouldn't be a congresswoman if that's her true feelings. And of course, of what she's allowed to go on in her own community. She should be holding her own community accountable, but she's not. She's over here trying to call Donald Trump a racist. But sorry, ma'am, there's obviously proof that there are Somali businesses that are committing fraud. And these are your people. Hold them accountable. Don't try to call us racist.
Enforcement officer for a lot of years, and to even ask or make a statement that you need to protect this group first over another group. When I was on the street, if somebody needed help, I didn't check their citizenship before I helped them. So the president started off trying to divide, which he does so well, the nation, right? And you want to talk about protecting Americans? That's exactly what Ilhan Omar was doing, talking about 2 U.S. citizens who were killed under very questionable circumstances in her district.
Is it fair for her to raise that? I mean, Trump is asking about protecting.
I mean, yeah, but it's also going down in her district an outrageous amount of fraud. Like, that's also going down in her district. An outrageous amount of undocumented immigrants. That's also going on in her district as well. So, yeah. I mean, Ilhan Omar has not shown any real leadership besides crying about Trump. And that's a lot of these Dems, sadly. Where's y'all leadership besides crying about Trump? What is y'all plan? What's the plan? It can't be F Trump. Like, I don't think America feels comfortable voting for the Democratic Party if your plan is F Trump.
Americans. Is it fair for her to raise the 2 Americans who were killed?
Well, I think Trump's entire speech was actually pretty unifying. I think Donald Trump's superpower is positioning himself as the common sense guy who's advocating for positions that the vast majority of Americans want. And there was one moment at the beginning where he invited the USA hockey team. And of course, the crowd went wild chanting USA, USA. And then the camera panned to Rashida Tlaib, who appeared to be mouthing KKK. And then again, you had another moment where Trump says, stand up if you want to support American citizens over illegal aliens. And instead, Ilhan Omar is screaming and heckling the president. And those are the best kind of sound bites and visuals that the GOP can have for the midterms, because a lot of people might not like Donald Trump and might be kind of hemming and hawing. And then they look at the alternative and they say, oh, well, this really angry woman, gosh, I don't know about her. So that's what Trump set out to do.
That was my question.
Highlight the 80-20 issues.
In response to his own question, is it fair for the Democrats to respond, why, yes, we do care about American citizens, including 2 that were killed?
Yes, it is
by
fair, but not
federal
in that
officers?
venue.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be real with you. If y'all cared so much, then you'd have provided, well, crowd control. You'd have brought in the local police. If you cared that much about your constituents, those civilians, then why didn't you bring in the National Guard to protect them, to keep Renee Good out of the street, to keep them, or to keep Alex Preddy from walking up on a nice officer, putting his hands on them? I mean, if y'all truly cared about these citizens, why didn't you offer crowd control? Why did you leave it up to ICE and Custom Border Patrol if you care about them so much? I mean, think about it like this. Y'all call ICE Gestapo and fascists, but you left the crowd control up to the so-called Gestapo and fascists when you could have brought in your own local police, who apparently I would hope you guys trust to, protect the community. I hope. But here's the problem. The reason why they didn't bring in the local police is because the local police would have been seen as ICE. Then they'd have had to mask up as well. And it had been exposed, the atmosphere that the Democrats created, which is a hostile one towards any law enforcement that helps ICE. And the local police that have been helping ICE would have gotten doxxed, harassed, and it wouldn't have been good. And that's why the Dems won't bring in local law enforcement to Minneapolis, because they know the atmosphere they created.
It's fair, but not at that moment.
That the president of the United States did not even mention the 2 U.S. citizens that were killed in Minnesota. How do you do the State of the Union, because you care about Americans so much, and not even mention the 2 people who lost their lives on the streets of America at the hand of federal agents?
One who tried to run over.
Why are you smiling?
But how do
ICE
you
agent
not
in
even,
the
you
moment.
can do your commentary all you want, or critique, but how do
State
you
facts.
not mention that 2 people died in that environment? And the president was one of the most unifying speeches. The president who said, look at the Democrats, aren't they crazy? He obviously does not understand that when he wants.
I mean, here's the thing. When you can sit there, I'm be real with you. Yeah, you guys are kind of crazy. So y'all gonna tell me y'all gonna blame ICE while not providing any type of help, by not involving local authorities whatsoever. Instead, you guys said for local authorities not to help ICE. Then when the situation gets bad where 2 people die, now you want to act like, now y'all want to play innocent. I'm sorry, no. Renee Good's death and Alex Preddy's death is on y'all. Sorry, that's on Jacob Fry, which is the mayor, and Tim Walz. It's on you guys. And the rhetoric of the left calling them Gestapo, because that led to the overreaction that Renee Good had against that ICE officer, which led to her trying to speed off after she's been told to get out the car 4 times. I'm sorry, but that's on you guys. We ain't even hearing it.
Election. He is supposed to represent all people.
When you go through some of the moments he went to, right? He pointed to a little girl.
And trust me, nobody wanted Renee Good or Alex Preddy to die. But when you sit there and you obstruct ICE officers and you get in the way of their investigations, I mean, what do you expect?
Lila,
I mean, when you try to run off on police, what do you expect?
who was almost killed by an illegal alien, miraculously came back. She was there with her dad. When you have Democrats who won't stand and applaud her recovery, yeah, I think that's
Sadly,
crazy.
people are killed in America every day.
People are killed in America every day. Then why are you? No, I'm not even gonna make that point, because you were just harping on 2 people that were killed. Now she makes a point and it's like, well, people are killed every day. Son of a bitch. Okay, so we can only care about the lives that y'all tell us to care about. Got it.
Sadly, and the majority of them are killed by U.S. citizens. So whether an
I don't understand that point.
undocumented
That
immigrant,
point
I'm saying
whether
that
it's
he was calling out about
undocumented immigrant or a
curtailing
U.S. citizen
fentanyl,
who's
about
the
supporting
perpetrator,
No, here's
the
the
bottom
families.
line is somebody has died or someone has been.
Here's the thing. When U.S. citizens killed by another U.S. citizen, I mean, real with you, it's sad, but at least he's supposed to be here. Him or her is supposed to be here. Yes, the killer, if the killer's a U.S. citizen, at least they're supposed to be here. What's irritating is when undocumented kill somebody, and guess what? If we was actually upholding our border policy, that person would never been killed because the undocumented would never be here. One is effed up, but hey, at least that person is supposed to be here. The other one is way worse because not only did somebody die, but it's by somebody who wasn't even supposed to be here.
As a result of bad policy that was in place for 4 years, allowing people to come into this country unvetted illegally. And if we had border policies that actually worked, those people wouldn't be here and those deaths would not have occurred. That's the difference. So when you can point directly to policy, I think that's obviously well within the scope of any president, Democrat or Republican.
Yeah. By the way, it went so well in Minnesota that the president sidelined his secretary, skipped her in the cabinet meeting, replaced her with Tom Homan, who then pulled everybody out. So yeah, it worked.
No, they didn't pull everybody out. They pulled in they put out like 1,000 ICE officers. Now there's less of an ICE presence there. So no.
Well, that they abandoned it and left. That's number one. Number two is, look, Donald Trump there's a lot of verbs and adjectives to describe. Unifying is not one of them.
And I mean, if they was listening to Tom Homan already said, we're going to pull out and we're going to go back in once we've coordinated with local authorities. So no, not Donald Trump or Tom Homan abandoning the immigration operation in Minneapolis. It's the idea that, all right, we came in there and we got hit with something unexpected. Now that we need to withdraw, plan to work with local authorities, even though they should have worked with us in the first place. But now they got to coordinate with them for them to come back in on a later date. So trust me, it's not over.
He doesn't even think
until the last undocumented is deported. Okay, I'm just playing, but yeah, I know what I mean.
That's not his strategy.
Two-thirds of the people who watched the speech thought it was very positive, and they liked it.
Actually, it was the lowest positivity in 20 years.
Yeah, and I think that's right.
Listen,
that's right.
And he patently, bold-faced lied about illegal immigrants and criminality. He said that the man who had killed the Ukrainian woman in Charlotte, North Carolina, Irina, was an undocumented immigrant who had been let in by Biden. That was a lie.
That wasn't true. I mean, see, that's the problem. People, when they say that's a lie, I mean, that's assuming duplicity. That's assuming that, Donald Trump was trying to mislead you when he could have just been misspeaking and he just got the information wrong, or he could have mixed it up the cases. Because, yeah, the person that stabbed that young lady on the train was an American citizen, black guy, American citizen, born in America.
A U.S. citizen. He was born in North Carolina.
You're right. He said, but it was another policy failure that led to him killing her.
That was purposeful. Him using illegal immigrants as the boogeyman. He said 12,000 murderers had been allowed in by Joe Biden. That's made up. He's making that number up and conflating.
Whoa. Actually, no. That was released by Custom U.S. and Borders. It was actually 3,000. U.S. Custom and Borders announced 3,000, people who've been convicted of murder in their own countries were let into the United States. That's not Trump. That was U.S. Custom and Borders. That was announced at the beginning of 2025.
No,
that is no.
We don't know. There's maybe 20 people who
we do know because ICE has put out numbers. We actually do know that that's not true. It is a lie. Listen, he lied over 20 times. Daniel Dale from CNN has done the fact checking, and a lot of those lies were about immigration. He said Maduro opened up the prisons and the insane asylums. There is no evidence, zero, that Maduro did that. Castro did it in 1980. But there is zero evidence that Maduro did it in the last few years.
This is kind of the whole point. You're literally defending Maduro and Venezuela right now.
Maduro. I am telling you, the guy you say is unifying is a pathological lie.
I mean, you just sat there and said that, Maduro didn't do anything. He wasn't dumping out his prisons or wasn't trying to send drugs over here. He wasn't doing none of that. I mean, there's no proof when actually there most likely is. I mean, you might have to ask the CIA about that one. I'll give her that. But all right, though, let's go over to the right side of media with Sean Hannity. And don't worry, we'll make our way back over to CNN to do that 20. Remember, they said Trump told 20 lies. So we'll get into that. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and bring in the co-host, Monty. Monty, how you doing, brother? How you doing?
Check me if I'm wrong. Fidel Castro wasn't in power in Hugo Chavez wasn't in power in 1980. I believe he was in power in 2000s.
I believe so. I'd have to double check. But Nah, the main thing is though is that she's trying to bring doubt on everything. Here's the thing, like I always do say when they say Trump lied, he lied. I'm like, that's assuming duplicity. I don't even try to do that with the Dems most of the time. I'd be like, nah, they're either misinformed, but the only way you could tell if he lied is I'm gonna be real with you. If he got the
Malice.
facts complete, yeah, malice, the malice behind it, and there
Yeah.
isn't really no malice in getting the fact that the guy who killed that young lady on the train. Well, he was an American citizen, not an undocumented.
Well, the woman on the train was a immigrant.
Yeah, that's true.
That
true.
that probably got linked in with the story. She's an immigrant and she was killed by fucking this guy, but he probably fucking went off script again, as he always does.
Yeah.
And got the facts wrong. But so what? The point is that the system has failed over and over again. You understand that the system has failed over and over again. He should have never been out on the street. And whatever. I why are we trying to pick this apart? It was a horrible thing. The Democrats refused to stand up for the grieving mother of that woman. They refused to stand. They condemn political violence so hard, but won't stand for Charlie Kirk's wife, who is literally a victim of political violence. Um, they decide that they're going to scream KKK when the U.S. gold medal hockey team comes in. They won't stand for 100-year-old war veteran. They won't stand to say, "Oh, we are for the American people." That should that should go without saying, right?
Yeah.
You should see everybody standing up if you're for the American people. You got your job on the backs of the American people. They don't want to stand for the Chinook pilot who was injured in the operation to get Maduro, who got a Medal of Honor. They don't want to stand for the DC National Guardsman that one